Okay, a few of you have asked how do we make our pinball bumpers in Illustrator, so I'm going to try and give you a bit of a rough, very quick tutorial on how to do this, and of course you modified this to suit your own designs and what you want to do. Okay, so I've got Illustrator open. These are the bumpers that I've currently made up. We have two rectangle shapes sitting above each other, so there's one on the top and one below. So what you need to do is you need to first of all get the rectangle tool, grab that, click on your page. Now the size of the rectangle is going to be the length of your alley plus 60 mils. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to say that it's going to be 450. The height of our bumper is going to be the same height as the tin catcher that you've made, which should be 40 millimeters, and then click OK. And that'll put a rectangle on the page for you. One of the things that you'll notice is that you have 9 anchor points, not 9, 3, 6, 7, 8 anchor points, I think it is, can count. They are on each of the corners. Okay, and we've got one in the middle, so that doesn't quite count as an anchor point. We've got these blue dots, which we're going to explain in a minute what they do, and they help us manipulate the corners. Okay, so let's say that we wanted to make a design a little bit like similar to the one that I've got above. And we've sort of got where it steps down in three parts. So we've got 1/3 there, a third, another third gone there, and a third gone there. If I was to draw a rectangle, and this time we're not going to apply any measurements to it, we are going to click and drag over the top. So I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to bring this rectangle along, and we're going to make it sort of about there. So we've got two rectangles that are overlapping. I'm going to go back up to our selection tool, which is the black arrow, select both of those shapes, and over in our properties window or panel, if we scroll down, we find a panel called the path finder. If it's not there, you need to go to window and go to path finder there and bring that up, and that'll bring up, you can either bring it up as a window like what we've got there now, which I might leave open, and we've got the one below. And you can see that we've got various options there that divide, trim, merge those shapes, crop those shapes, outline, minus, etc. Now we're going to jump on the minus front, I think it is, and click that one, and you can see that the shapes sort of look like they've gone into one. But if I click off that, you can see now our shape has sort of stepped down where that rectangle was. It's subtracted from that. So I'm going to repeat that process again, get another rectangle, again draw that along, and we're going to sort of half roughly what we did there before, hit that same button again, and whoops, I don't think we can do that because I forgot to select both of them. So let's try that again, hit that, and then we have like a stepped pattern. Now, at the moment our step pattern has nice sharp corners on it. You may want to round those corners off. If we click on the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow at the top, and we click on our shape, you can see that there's the anchor points around the corner. But if I was to select a particular anchor point, you can see that there is the round little circle that comes up. Now, if we drag that, you can see it puts a little curve on there. So if we do that to that anchor point, and then I repeat that process to the second anchor point, it changes red when it goes, it can't move any further because it's hit the other existing curve there. So if we sort of repeat that process a little bit, I'm just going to do it half and half, like that. You might want to put another one on the front here, just put a small little curve there. If I click off that now, you can see that the sharp corners are gone. Doesn't quite have the same sort of S that we have there, but it is rounded over. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit here and see if we can blow this up a little bit. Okay, if I use that, click on that path again, each one of these anchor points, if I click on that, has these little handles here. You can see it comes up with the word handle. If I grab that handle, I can manipulate that. So I can actually drag that curve out. I can bring it back in. I can change that around. The other thing I can do is I can actually grab the anchor and I can slide the anchor back along that line, and I can slide the anchor back along that line, and then I can try and manipulate my curves to blend in a little bit more nicely with what we're doing. So It's going to take a little bit of experimentation, a little bit of fiddling around, but you can get a nice quiet curve to go around through your shape. So have a play around with that. That's pretty much how to do that step down pattern. You don't have to do that. You could do whatever you like. You've got to think creatively and come up with it. Now you can see that I've got some little holes here for where the screws are going to go. They need to be a 4mm hole. Now to get the hole, if you go back to where your rectangle was and you click and hold down with your left mouse button, it'll bring up this menu. And so we've got other tools that we can use here. We need to use the ellipse tool. So I'm going to select that and you can see it changes. And what I'm going to do is just click once on the page. It'll bring up the properties. If I don't do that, then you've got to click and drag it. So we're going to type in 4 and 4, go OK. And if I zoom in a little bit, you can see that we have a little circle there. I'm going to use my direct selection tool, which is the black arrow. And I'm going to grab that and we can just click and drag that and stick that up in somewhere up there. So that's going to be one of the holes that we're going to cut out, that we're going to put a little screw in to attach our bumpers to our project. Once you've got one of those holes completed, you could do copy and paste using Control C to copy and Control V to paste. You can do those same things in here by going copy and then paste up here. Or you could literally just draw some more circles again. To move it across, I'm just holding down my space bar and it brings up that hand and I'm just panning that across. Now in the back part of this, don't forget that you're not going to have any wood in the back 60mm of that. We're going to have clear space. So your alleyway is only going to be in the front half of this rectangle here. So make sure that you can, if you click and drag, you can see that we get an oval. So if you want to hold that in proportion, you hold down Shift and it will stay in proportion. Okay, and you can then obviously just click on the page and go for, not 45, 4, tab 4, go OK, and I'll put a 4mm one there, and then you can move these around. Okay, last little step that we're going to do is once we've got all the patterns sort of selected, what we want to do then is using the black arrow, the selection tool, is select all of our work like that, right click on it and go group. So we want all of that to go together so that when we move one, it moves all of our dots and everything all go together. So that's the first step. The second step is that we need to go to our appearance, make sure that the fill is switched off and that the stroke is the RGB red, so it's red. Now, if you go to the color mixer there, change the red to be 255 red, 0 green and 0 blue. So you can just slide those sliders along. And then lastly, change the stroke to be 0.01 points is what I normally work at, and it works out quite nicely. So once you've got those things done, that is all you actually need 2 of these. So you could grab that and do a copy, paste, or reflect. So if we go copy and then paste, it gives us a second one. Push that down there, and then this time we want to actually like mirror that. So there's a little tool up there in the transform which says flip vertically. Flip it, and there is your second one there. If you wanted to put text on there, then you could use the text tool and things like that. But we may look at that in another video. While we could do that, let's have a quick go now. So you grab the T for text tool, draw a text box where you want the text to go. Type in something in there. So I think I've spelled that correctly, but let's have a look. So select that, blow it up. To do the selection and the blowing up, what I've done is you can use your in the character window, there should be the type of font that's there and the size that's there. So basically what you need to do is select it, and then you can change the font up or down there. You can center it, you can align it to the center, etc. All those sorts of things in that space. You can click on that and that'll show you some font families that you've got. So you could pick a font for that. Now, last thing I want to do is convert your font from being a font into being an image. That way, when you transfer it to the laser color computer, if it doesn't have your font, it'll still cut that out. So, or it'll still etch it, sorry. So we want to go to Object and, Type, and go to, where is it? We want to create outlines. It's not going to let us. Sorry, let's just go to this selection tool, select it, and then go create outlines like that. So what that means is now that is all individual. And so we can move that around and they're all like, it's like a graphic as opposed to a font, but that's what you can do. So grab your font, change it to Type, and then go to create outlines by using the direct selection tool. That's it for this video. I hope that all made sense. It's pretty quick. Slow it down if you need to replay it, etc., etc. But that's how you can combine shapes. Don't forget, you can also use various circles in here. You could use ovals or things like that to cut out various parts of it. Design is purely up to you. Have fun with it and enjoy. Thanks for watching.